Hello everyone and welcome back. Dom here, and this video is going to be a little bit special. On this video, I'm going to show you, play for you, and analyze the music for a silent film that I composed quite a few years ago. So I'm going to go through it. I'm going to talk about the journey of creating this score. I'm going to talk a little bit about the techniques that I used. I'm also going to talk a little bit about the artistic direction and the artistic vision when it comes to composing for films. And today, instead of doing my usual intro, I'm actually going to play quite a bit of the film, not the entire thing, but just a little bit so that you can see what we're going to talk about. Let's get started. Okay, so this is a little bit of the film. I played most of it so that you can have an idea of what we're going to discuss about today. And I want to take this one by one. First of all, I love this film. I fell in love from the very first time I saw it. This is done by a director called Zennis. He's an amazing, amazing director. And I love the sensitivity and the amazing atmosphere that this film creates. It really makes you think. So before anything else, I want to thank Zennis for letting me use this film on my video and show how I created the music. Now, when I say create the music, it's not as simple as that. You have to understand, for a really nice film like this, you're competing with many composers. When I got this film in my hands, it didn't just arrive to me personally. It came on an email where other composers were also CC'd, and they had the option to pitch for the film. Pretty much everyone wanted to do the music for the film, and all of us pitched for it. And when I say pitch, in case you don't know what that means, when you're a film composer, you're basically pitching your idea to the director, to the producer, depending on who's in charge, and then they're the ones to decide which composer has the right music for the film. So that's what we did. Basically, everyone pitched for this film, and actually some of the people that pitched for this film are really good friends of mine, and they are composers that I really appreciate, and I think they're really talented people. Now, one of the things that really made me super interested in this film, apart from the story and the amazing visuals and the whole atmosphere of this film, was that it was also shot in real film. And I really appreciate that. Like we in audio, we try and get analog gear. We have a passion for what we do. I saw the passion behind this film. I saw that Zennis, he took the time. He was like, no, he could shoot it digital, but he actually shot it on film. The quality, you can see it from the very first scene. You see this textured, really organic quality of the real film. If you're a film lover, like a movie lover, you'll know what I mean. This is really tasteful stuff. And I think it adds to the actual experience when you're watching this, even when you watch it in digital form like we do on our computers, right? So the pitch was, each one of the composers had to come up with a lullaby, a melody that the actual girl that appears on the film was supposed to be humming. And the director told us, it needs to be feminine, it needs to be haunting, it needs to be a little bit gloomy, and it needs to be memorable. I'm not sure if he actually specified this, but I created with this thing in mind. I wanted it to be memorable. I wanted it to be easy enough so that even a little kid could hum it. And actually, it's not so easy to hum, but I hope that it would stick in your head. The actual plan was to record a real girl humming this lullaby. But I'm going to tell you what happened in a second, and that wasn't possible, actually. So when I received the film, all I had was this. So, completely silent. And silent films are really unforgiving. It means that they rely on the music more than anything else. When you have dialogue in a film, when you have sound effects, when you have a lot of things going on, it's kind of more forgiving for the composer, so you can actually take a little bit of a breath and you don't have to fill every little gap with music. But here, you see that I had no option. I had to fill everything in with music non-stop. And that was the real challenge until the end, where we have some sound effects. And I think I took a little bit of rest here, and then I reintroduced the music at 4 minutes and 27 seconds. By the way, I have my time code here, and I'm using Cubase 11 Pro, but I think this was done in Cubase 6, if I'm not mistaken. That was a long time ago. It still opens. Some of the stuff I cannot really recall because there are really old patches that they don't work anymore, and that's why it's so important to create backups and create multi-tracks of your productions. But that's not the point here. What I want to show you is the journey for this film, what I did. So, like I said, there was nothing. It was completely silent. Once I sent my pitch to the director, he came back to us and he said, I'm gonna go with Dom's music. I was really happy, and to be honest with you, I knew the other people that I was kind of competing with. I don't want to say compete, but yeah, and I don't think I was the best composer, but knowing that these people were so good, that felt even better. So let me tell you how I approached this. And maybe I'm going to do a specific video for all the things that you can do in order to approach a film composition. And the first thing that I did was, of course, set my time signature, set a rough tempo. I knew that this was the theme. The only thing that I had to do was work that theme, edit that theme, and make variations of that theme, but also find the right places to introduce the theme. So I have two themes going on in this composition. I have this one. Okay, and then I have the lullaby. So like I said, this film is a psychological drama. I'm not going to analyze it and go into the nitty-gritty of what the deep meanings are and what Zennis has portrayed in this film. But obviously the theme and the main concept of the film is abuse. And we can understand that the woman and the girl are actually the same person. Now, the woman is the one that's been abused by her husband, and I think that the girl symbolizes her childhood, her shattered memories, her innocent self. And I wanted to approach this in a very sensitive way because it's a very sensitive subject, and the way that the film has been directed and produced and written is done in a very sensitive way. So I wanted the music to help with that because the visuals are so strong in this film. So we have quite a few things. The first thing that I tried to do was find a pace. I knew that the pace for the lullaby would be roughly like this. So I set my tempo roughly right there. So it's a very slow piece, but it's in 6/8. And then what I tried to do was find my markers, okay? So the first is the intro. That's where we begin. And it starts on bar 1. Then we have the titles. I wanted to signify the titles with one of the motifs. And that's what happens here. Titles. So we get this, but I'm still hinting it. It's not the entire theme, obviously. Then we have the girl's lullaby theme. When she walks into the closet, we have this motif. So when she walks into the closet, we have this. Very simple harmony. But see, when we go to the woman, to reality, then you can see that I'm changing the harmony a little bit so that we get a little bit more of a dark, ominous tone. Check it out. It's a nice, beautiful A minor. It's a little bit melancholic, but it's still a little bit dreamy. When we go to the woman, I'm signifying this with a change in the harmony. Go back to the girl. And I tried to time this with the stop of the movement of the camera. You see this nice shot that Zennis has done here? See that? Once the camera movement goes a little bit slower, I go back to the girl kind of harmony. This is ominous because you see we are in like a garage and she's looking at some tools, some hammers. That means that she has something in her mind. She's also beaten up. You see her eye. So I'm trying to signify this with the harmony. Okay, and then we move on to 1, 2. And you can see why I placed this there. it's exactly when she opens the book. And actually, that's one of the most interesting elements of the story, in my opinion. But as you can see, once we go into the book, we have the innocence, we have the dreamy kind of notion. Now I'm portraying the girl. I'm portraying the innocence. I'm portraying all the shattered dreams, all the things that are hinted there, you know? And then I have this marker here, restraining order, because I thought it was an interesting thing to signify. And then you can see that we have the girl here, and then we cut to the woman in front of the fire. Let's see what happens there. And you will hear that I'm actually evolving the theme. I'm adding some counter melodies. I'm doing all these things to embellish it. And by the way, this is a sampled voice. The reality was that we were supposed to record a real girl, but I got the final cut for the film 2 days before the deadline. The composition was done in one night, and then the next day I did the mixing and the mastering, and that was it. So obviously I didn't have time to find a girl to hum this lullaby. Nevertheless, the sample still worked. It was still okay. Obviously, I would prefer to have a real girl sing this, but let's see what happens with the theme here. Now I'm developing the theme with a piano. So that was a very critical moment for me. I wanted to nail that ending of the theme with the final page of the book. And that was really hard. I had to plan ahead. But the great thing with good directors is that they have a little bit of a rhythm in their editing. And I have to say that this would be super, super hard. But because of the actual feel and the flow of the editing, it was actually easier than I expected. So as you can see, we end, and here we go to, I have a marker here called adulthood. And that's when we go back to the woman and we can see the emotion, you know, see that this is such a powerful frame. You see the emotion in her eyes, the pain. Maybe she's going a little bit crazy, you know? Maybe she's planning something sinister. There's something in her eye. So how do I signify this with the music? Let's listen. Atmosphere. So what am I doing here? Let me explain. As you can see, I'm changing the orchestration quite a bit. I'm introducing harp with these arpeggios. I'm introducing an alto flute that I never use anywhere else on the film. I just want to show the adulthood, and I want to show the sadness and maybe a little bit of the hardship that this woman has gone through. And I chose the alto flute because it's a little bit darker than a normal flute, and I think it gives you a more sinister, dark, and round tone, okay? So as you can see, there's still the theme underneath, ba-da-da-da-da, but then the harmony is way, way different. It makes you feel a little bit uneasy. What's going on? I know this melody, but that's not the same. And that's exactly what I wanted to show here. It's that she's the same person. We recognize her, but she's not the same woman anymore because she's been through a lot, and these things might have changed her completely. So the theme is right there, it's lurking in the background, but it's presented in a completely different way. Let's have a listen and pay attention to the theme, that it's still infused in there. See? Da-da-da-da-da. A little bit sinister chord progressions. Maybe she's thinking about it. Or maybe she's already done it. And now, check this out. Back to the girl, back to the theme, back to the same sound, this bell sound, with different harmonization underneath, different chord progressions. And again, very, very uneasy. You know, you still recognize the theme. Again, I'm playing the theme on many different keys throughout this song. It's 5 minutes long, you know, so... And here we take off, we go to a different place, and this is where the story unfolds. This is where Zennis shows us what happened. We see the actual progression of what this woman did. I give you the theme, and then I move on to something else. We're about to take off, okay? Let's listen. Theme. And now, hear the theme? Let's talk a little bit about this section. Again, this might be one of the most complicated parts of this film because I had to come up with a nice evolving thing of the same theme, but I wanted to make it really beautiful and majestic because this woman is trying to break free, and she's trying to do this by doing maybe a bad thing, or is it? But the thing is, you can hear the theme all the time. It's still there. It's still nagging you, you know, pam 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 pam. If you pay attention, these notes are there. And then of course I have some harmonic progressions. I'm a big fan of, you know, lyrical themes. You might know this by now. I don't know if I show it enough on my channel, but I'm a huge fan of all the great film composers, from Morricone to, you know, all these beautiful classic films. I love melody. I think that melody is one of the things that people can't get right anymore. It seems that many people are avoiding melody. I'm not sure if it's because they are afraid to write it, it's because it's not cool enough anymore to write nice melodies, or, you know, some people cannot write melodies. I'm really, really interested. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about this. Maybe I'm gonna make a video discuss about this subject. But a beautiful melody is always gonna win, is always going to convey emotions. So that's what I try to do here, but still keeping the theme going on all the time. Let's listen again, and as you can see, the thing that I had to hit this time was the cake. You know, I wanted to have this cut signified, and as you can see, I used a little bit of tempo automation here to make this happen, because otherwise I wouldn't hit it. And Cubase does this very, very easily, by the way. I have to say, many people knew back then were using other DAWs, I'm not gonna name which ones. They were coming to my studio. We were doing the same thing, we were film composers, right? And they were like, oh, you know what, I'm trying to figure out how to do the tempo map. Yeah, it's the hardest thing, I find it takes me so much time. And then I showed them how I do it in Cubase, and they were like, you're cheating. Yeah, I don't waste time on things that are mundane. I want to work on the actual artistic side of things. I don't want to work on the technical side of things. And that's why you see me being so obsessive about Cubase. It really helps me create the best music I can without wasting time and my energy on other things. Maybe I'm going to make a video on how to do all these tempo changings in Cubase at a later stage. Let me know in the comments down below if you would like me to do that. And if you're enjoying this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and share it with anyone you feel they might find it useful. Let's play it one more time, and then we'll move on to the last bit of the film. Spot on, right? Again. Da-da-da-dum. Bum, 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 bum. Theme. Bum, 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 bum. Bum. Bum, bum. What am I doing here and why I did this? It's still the theme. I still want to show it's the same person inside. It's a variation, it's not the entire theme. It's broken down, it's kind of torn into pieces like what she is, probably right now. And the reason why I'm giving a resolution in the end, because I go da-da-da-da-da. Normally, I was thinking about this, should I resolve this? I was thinking, should I just leave it hanging? You know what? I didn't want this to turn into a suspense thing. It's not the point. I don't think this is the point of the film. This is not a thriller. I think at this point, you can see it in her eyes. Look at her eyes. She has taken her decision. The decision is done. Okay? She made up her mind. That's it for her. She's gonna do it. I wanted it to have closure. I wanted the music to say, that's it. I've made up my mind. She's made up her mind. That's it. The theme closes. We have resolution. So that's what I did, and that's why I didn't leave it hanging. I didn't want to turn it into a cheap suspense thing that, oh, you know, what is she gonna do? You know, what is gonna happen? No, she's made up her mind. That's it. You see it in her eyes. You don't need me to tell you. I just need to enhance what she has in her facial expressions. She's an amazing actress, you know? So let's play this. And that lovely reverb on the piano. Knock on the door. That was the easy bit. Picks up the hammer. Hear that? That's the motif again. Very, very dissonant.
Wait from the tools. Must have known I was coming.
And that's the final and titles. And this is the only time where I wanted to have like a little bit of a suspense. You can see her eyes here. It's so intense. So I tried to enhance it with the music. I think I didn't overdo it, but okay. And then we have the titles. This had to be exactly 5 minutes. So this was the composition journey for this film. I didn't talk about, you know, the libraries and the sounds that I use. You know, these things, they don't really matter. You could do this with pretty much any library. That's not the point. I think for me, the most important thing is understanding what the film needs. Enhance it, especially for silent films like this. It's really crucial to understand what's going on and how you can enhance the visuals. Let me know in the comments down below if you think I did an okay job. This is one of the films that I'm really proud of. I really love it as a film to begin with, and I really like the fact that it gave me the option to write a beautiful melody, you know, to write a theme, a memorable theme. Also, because it was a long piece of music, for film composing 5 minutes non-stop is a lot. It's really a long cue. This is obviously an entire film, but it's a long cue. Most of the times you expect like 1 minute, 1 minute and a half, 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. It's quite long. 3 minutes is very long, but 5 minutes non-stop, that's very hard to do. Because it's not like, oh yeah, I have a chorus, a verse, a chorus, a verse. No, this has to evolve, and you have to hit points, and you have to make sure that everything supports the visuals. So I hope that this was interesting for you. I wanted to give you a more in-depth look on how you compose for film and for something like this that's really deep, and it conveys a lot of hidden meanings, and it touches on a lot of really important issues, you know. So I try not to be too technical about this, but try to explain the philosophy behind it and the artistic direction behind this. If you enjoy these kind of videos, because I think this is the first time I do something like this, let me know in the comments down below. Give it a like so that I know that you liked it, because if you like this kind of things, I'm gonna do more of these, but you have to let me know. Leave me your comments, let me know what you thought of the film. Give some love to Zennis. Please leave a comment down below and say how much you like the film. I think it's a brilliant film. And if you want to listen to the music in high quality, the track is on Spotify, on my album Film Collection. It's called Phoenix Original Soundtrack. That was the original name of the film before it was released, so that's why it's called like that. But if you want to listen to a high quality version of this, it's right there, so feel free to go and give it a listen. So if you stayed with me up to this point, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I hope you liked this. This is a little bit of a different video, but I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.